week's episode of One Punch Man. Saitama and Genos team up in battle against the House of Evolution's greatest warrior, Carnage Kabuto. Mad scientists, cyborgs, giant bug creatures, amazing fighting choreography, explosions, flamethrowers, amazing soundtracks. This is one of the greatest action anime I've ever seen, and every single episode of One Punch Man is trying its best to make it be my favorite anime series of all time. It is amazing how every single episode completely stands on its own with what it's trying to do. The series is so good. I think it goes without saying that this is without a doubt the hit of the fall anime season. Not just because of its action-packed nature, but because of its humor. Because in this week's episode, not only are we delivered an amazing action scene with getting to see Genos fight against this giant bug and then Saitama taking over, but we also get to learn how Saitama became the One Punch Man, how he gained his godlike power to destroy anything in a single punch. First, let's talk about the highlights of this week's episode. We get an immediate backstory on Dr. Genos at the very beginning of this episode. Basically, he's just a mad scientist who wanted to forcibly make mankind evolved. He experimented on people, on humans, and now he's interested in Saitama, the One Punch Man. What's really funny about his backstory is that it's very long-winded and ridiculous, and even Saitama brings this up at the very beginning of the episode. After learning about Dr. Genos, Saitama and Genos decide that they're going to go to the House of Evolution and burn it to the ground. Although Saitama reluctantly goes because he doesn't want to miss the supermarket sale, which is actually going to be a very important plot point in this week's episode. What's really cool, though, is that I originally thought that Saitama could fly. Basically, that was him just sort of jumping around and being batted by his opponents. Apparently, he can't do that. According to him, humans can't fly. He still just has incredibly destructive power. When they actually arrive at the House of Evolution, I love that Genos doesn't even question, like, is this the right building or not? He just completely blows it away, destroying like half of this mountain with his giant explosive flamethrowers. It's when they actually walk over the rubble that they find this secret hatch, which I love the attention to detail where Saitama actually picks up the hatch and actually pulls it back, kind of like a tuna can lid. Now that Saitama and Genos are inside the House of Evolution, Dr. Genos decides he's going to unleash his ultimate weapon, which is this giant half-man, half-Hercules beetle by the name of Carnage Kabuto, who I think is voiced by Joseph Joestar, or at least the guy who did his voice, the older version from Stardust Crusaders. That guy's popping up all over the place, but if it is him, it's an absolutely perfect choice for this character, who is just, frankly, one of the greatest villains I've seen from the series thus far. Again, he kind of reminds me of a Power Rangers villain, kind of like Mosquito Girl, but I think that's kind of what they were going for with these characters. But this guy is actually no slouch. Despite the fact that he's got a really big mouth and a crazy design, he's actually not to be messed with. He has a first battle with Genos, which is just oh so sexy and amazing. I love the choreography in this series, and just like the previous episodes, it's a scene that I frankly just can't do justice. You just kind of have to see it for yourself. Just the way that Genos moves is a real joy to watch. I especially love that scene where he runs in for the first time, and you get to see all the different angles where he's using his flamethrower, but Carnage Kabuto just bats him around like nothing, just literally beating him into the dirt. And he's incredibly fast as well, able to jump around the room and bounce off the walls. After Genos is defeated, Saitama decides he's going to fight against Carnage Kabuto, and before things even get serious, there's this great scene where Carnage Kabuto appears right behind him, getting ready to punch him, and he gets real freaked out and jumps away because he realizes something's not quite right about this guy. If he'd have punched right there, he would have probably been killed. And this is where we learn the grand secret of why Saitama is so powerful and how he got so strong over the course of 3 years. The secret is he does 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, runs 10 kilometers a day, eats 3 meals a day with a banana just for breakfast, and do not use AC, do not use heat. Basically, you have to strengthen your entire body and mind, and you have to do that every single day, and train so hard that your hair is actually going to fall out. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, apparently that's actually how he pulled it off. He's being very sincere about that, and the reaction from Genos is great. Not only because his reaction is so funny because he's being so blunt, like there's no way you could do that, but since he just fought against Carnage Kabuto and had like his fire blown back at him, his hair actually looks like he has an afro. After hearing Saitama's story, Carnage Kabuto decides with newfound confidence that he's going to fight against Saitama, so he decides to go into Carnage mode, where all of this armor on his body just explodes off, and he transforms into this giant hulking beast, which is all purple and blue with green stripes. It looks so freaking creepy and awesome, and what I love most about this scene is how the backgrounds change, where they're in this giant room, and as soon as he transforms, everything goes on lockdown, and everything turns red. It makes every single color pop in this action scene in such an amazing way. And then right after this, he immediately goes on the rampage, knocking Saitama around the room, making him bounce against the walls. This action scene is beyond insane. It almost seems like Saitama is losing at first, like he's shocked about all of this. It's not until the end of the battle that you realize that he's actually thinking about the fact that if he goes on this rampage, he claims he's going to do it for the course of a week. If he does that, he's going to miss the special grocery sale. He gets really pissed off and finishes him off with one amazing punch, ending the battle in this week's episode. The episode ends with Saitama and Genos making their way to the grocery store so that they can save that money. What's really great about this episode is that it looks like Dr. Genius has also learned to change himself, and he's going to do it without having to act like Dr. Moreau anymore. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Punch Man? Oh my god, this series is so freaking good! Every single episode manages to one-up itself in such a cool way. It's so inventive with how they do their action in this series, and it's so expertly animated that you just can't help but want to get absorbed in all of it. Just the way the characters move is amazing. Every single hit is incredibly impactful, and it's all just got this amazing design behind it. Like, the colors of the characters really pop in this episode, and that's because they make a lot of great creative choices, where a lot of the times when they want to show emotion from a character, they'll use this really dark shading, which almost looks like pastel-like, almost charcoal-esque. And I think that brings out a lot of emotion in a lot of the scenes. And then, of course, you just have the character designs of the monsters they're fighting against. Like, Carnage Kabuto went through two completely different looking forms. The first one looking like this giant bugman whose expressions were just so ridiculous with his giant smile and his giant jacked up limbs. When he transformed into that monster at the end and went on the rampage too, just the amount of damage that he did to Saitama was crazy, and all the different moves he did with all the drop kicks and slamming him against the walls and then just punching him repeatedly. It was just all handled so freaking well. Genos' fight scene in this episode was great too. Despite the fact that he did lose, all of his choreography is so amazing. The fact that he can use those flamethrowers and still go hand to hand is great, especially that one barrage punch ability that he did in this episode. There were just too many great action moments to count. And still, the series doesn't get too serious either. Like, there's a lot of humor behind it. You know, the opening stuff with Dr. Genius and everything, and how Saitama was getting angry about how that story was just going on for way too long. That's a really great callback to the last episode where Genos was telling Saitama all about his backstory. And just the way the episode ended, too, just so abruptly with them going to the grocery store, and how that was like a theme of the entire episode, is really clever. It can really do a great job of delivering all these great action scenes. So, yeah, there it is. Just another fun, action-packed episode of One Punch Man, a series which I do believe is the best show of the fall. Maybe the best show that I've seen in a couple of years. If they can manage to keep this momentum while introducing new characters, comrades, and villains, then I am just so pumped up for this show. And I'm really hoping that it's just, you know, going to do the manga justice, because I haven't looked at the manga yet. Everybody's telling me to. They're saying that the artwork is amazing, and I can believe it after seeing what they're doing in this anime series. But still, just, I want to see it unfold in the anime version first, and I really hope that it has an opportunity to adapt to the actual manga, although I know it's probably going to catch up to it pretty quick. But still, I hope they find a good stopping point. Maybe we can get multiple seasons with One Punch Man. Yeah, this series is great. Like, it really wants to be in my top 5 favorite anime of all time, and I can honestly say it's already kind of there, just as long as they can keep this up. I mean, the first 3 episodes of this series could easily be the final episode of a lot of other anime series. Like, that's how good the quality is. That combined with the writing and the funny characters just make this an absolute must-watch for any anime fan. 5 out of 5 from me. I got no problem with that. This is One Punch Man, and you guys should definitely check it out. But if you did watch this week's episode, I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and you can tell me in the comment section below. What did you think of the action and humor in this episode? The battles against Carnage Kabuto. Are you just watching the anime version? Do you read the manga as well? What do you want to see from the rest of the One Punch Man anime series? Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy!